What's up, everybody, and welcome to BioS3 Raw TV. Today we're going to talk about how many calories is a pound of fat, because the general consensus for like ever and ever is 3,500 calories per pound of fat, which if you ask any of these wingnut science guys, that's what they're going to spit out, and they're going to tell you as long as you're burning 3,500 calories in 1 week and you're in that much of a deficit, you're going to lose a pound of fat. And that is the rule that they go by, and that rule does not change. That is science, that is steadfast, that's written in stone, it doesn't change. They don't give a fuck about metabolism, they don't give a fuck about metabolic adaptation. They say that is an absolute as far as fat loss goes. Now, there was a study done called the Minnesota Starvation Experiment. This was done in 1941, somewhere around there. Or what year was this? May 1944. I'm sorry. So 1944 they did this study. Now, this information goes all the way back to then. So this is not new. You can't say that you didn't fucking know about it, because it's been there. And you have the internet. So you have all the information at your fingertips. All you have to do is push the fucking buttons to find it. Now, they found out, what they were trying to do is, they were trying to do a study about, or find out what happens in case of war. They were talking about World War II. And they were trying to find out what happens in periods of starvation to the metabolism as well as refeeds. They actually used the term refeeds, okay? So they said 200 conscientious objectors volunteered, so 200 people in this experiment. As an alternative to war, and Keyes and the team of research whittled these down to 36 men, okay? So they went through them, did the applications and stuff like that, and found that 36 of them were qualified to do the study. So it's not like they just took whoever came along. All the men were aged 20 to 33, were chosen for their physical and mental resilience. Okay, so now there's something interesting. They looked for somebody who physically was resilient to, I guess, starvation, so restriction of calories. So I'm not sure how they figured that out, but so then what they did was they determined the calorie requirements for the man was established that the men maintained their weight approximately 3,200 calories, well, 3,210 calories. While walking 22 miles each week, on average just 3 miles a day. So 45 to 60 minutes of walking they did each day. That's how they set it up. The starvation period was 24 weeks. Okay, and what they did was they actually gave them a controlled diet of approximately 1,600 calories a day. Okay, so they restricted those calories into about half of what they normally were. So that's not like a 500 calorie deficit. That's like a 1,600 calorie deficit to maintain their weight. Now, what was interesting was, let me go through this and find the like the take-homes of it. The keys in the study, assuming the deficit remained at 1,640 for the 24-week starvation period of the 3,500 calorie formula, were correct. During the 24 weeks, every man should have lost at least 78 pounds. This is going by the fact that each pound of fat should be 3,500 calories. If that's an absolute, okay, then at the end of 24 weeks, the guys should have lost 78 fucking pounds, okay? Now, the average weight loss for the men was less than half of this, 37 pounds, 1.5 pounds per week, okay? Let's shut this message off. The lightest man in the study, it said if the 3,500 calorie formula were correct, the lightest man in the study, Bob Villowick from Ohio, should have finished the study below 3 stone. He would have, of course, have died long before this. It says the less you eat, the less you must continue to eat to have any chance for losing more weight. Now, here's the deal. I've heard over and over again that you can't lose this much amount of weight. Now, this actually goes to show, in my opinion, that from person to person, a pound of fat can actually vary in calories. They actually say it's they have a range of which they found. They thought, let's see where it is. There's a certain range that they think it's not 3,500 calories. It could be anywhere from, I think it was 2,800 to 3,700 calories per pound of body fat. It varied that much from person to person. Now, that's a lot of calories to take in per day. If you're going basically on the 500 calorie deficit that most people talk about, that may not be enough to put somebody in a calorie deficit enough to lose weight. Also, if you figure out based on your body weight and stuff like that, if you figured it out to your 500 calories over your maintenance, you then wouldn't gain weight. So it is absolutely possible that going by these figures and not taking into individual metabolism, that you can go 500 calories and people go, that's impossible. It happens. It happens all the time. In this study in 1944, and there are probably other ones to prove it too, but this is the first one that they just did starvation and then refeeds. And what they did was afterwards, they fed the people that were essentially starved more calories. So they bump that calories back up. Now, technically, if you bump those calories back up, you should gain a certain amount of weight in a certain amount of time. And again, that didn't happen. That weight slowed too, depending on the person. So individual metabolism changed as far as the weight loss and as far as the weight gain, even though all these guys were the same maintenance. All these guys were chosen because they had the same maintenance calories. However, they all lost weight differently and they all gained weight differently based on the fact that they have an individual metabolism, which goes to prove it is not a calories in, calories out. That has something to do with it, but your body changes calories in and calories out on a daily basis. And depending on your metabolism, that also changes on a daily basis too. And it also goes to prove that these people that are talking about how you pad your calories up so that you can cut them back down in the off season, as you pad your calories up, the metabolism changes as they're going up too. The metabolism doesn't get faster, it actually gets slower. And then when they go to pull these calories out, you do the same thing. You go into a starvation diet, which is essentially restriction of calories, and you slow the metabolism down again. That's why these people are getting stuck. And some of them are having to reduce more and more and more. And these coaches that preach this, what I find interesting is they have these clients that, when they don't train with them anymore, tell the real truth about what happens. And what they do is they then tell, well, we didn't really do a 200-calorie deficit. We did a 1,200-calorie deficit. We didn't really do 3 days of cardio a week. We did 6 days of cardio a week. Or, I remember one saying, well, he told me to do 3 days of cardio, but I did 7 days of cardio. So they're doing other things that the trainer didn't know, and all of a sudden they get great results, and they say they don't want to tell the trainer, hey, I wasn't following what you told me to do. So what they do is just say, yeah, I did it, and this trainer goes and spreads this stuff all over the place. But, this is one of the, you can get this on Zoe Harcombe, which is, I guess, the lady's name who wrote this blog. So ZoeHarcombe.com, okay? And it's the Minnesota starvation experiment. You can read it for yourself. And it just goes to prove what I'm telling you guys all along. And this is, like I said, this is just one thing that they did way back then. They figured it out. And why this information is not used nowadays for all you guys that are dieting, because you have this information at your fingertips, you're not looking for it. You just take the word of some coach who he's not going to tell you this, because they fucking probably don't understand this. And this goes to prove what they're saying wrong. It's not 3,500 calories for every person per pound of body fat, and the metabolism changes based on the individual's metabolism, no matter what your maintenance says, based on calculations of your body mass, or how much you walk. It changes. It's different. It's individual. Biohazardtraining@gmail.com. Leave comments down below, but don't fight. www.biohazardtraining.com is a blog, and where it's the individual starvation diet bicep, and we're out.